There you go, Mike.
I say why I'm glad we're recorded because Wyatt's trying to switch coaches, I guess, and try to gas me up on the Jake and Gino side.
Oh, snap. I would never.
Yeah, and he's a terrible liar too. What's going on, everyone? Yeah, like Nico said, I've done doors don't matter, but about 660 doors in 3 years, owning a small percentage. My first deal, I always make the joke, it's 143 units, but I own half a bathroom in Lexington, Kentucky. So units don't matter. It's more of just learning and growing and scaling with good people. Worked for Dan Gilbert and really learned the systems on a lot of the stuff and how to scale businesses. So I think today we're going to go into Asana and what I use it for. And I can just like jump in if that works for everyone. And just kind of like, here's a blank Asana and here's what I use it for. Does that
Go ahead.
work?
Yes.
Cool. It's like I heard more than a murmur, so we're doing it. All right.
Yeah, that's
So-
awesome, Mike.
All right. Asana. I use it because it's free. You can use Monday.com. Monday's better at databasing for deals than Asana, but Asana is free. ClickUp is better for scale and has a lot more bells and whistles, so that's not free. And I think of this exercise, whatever you do works for you. I don't care what it does. So like very high level, I'll try to show my teams. I use it for fundamentally everything. So we're building like content calendars for next year because I'm just trying to get out there. But here's our team's like goals. So level 10 meetings, have our core values, our priorities, our weekly to-dos, issues, parking lot. These are like ideas to be had. Rhythms, here's all the things that we need to do every day. The broker list, this is what I use. My VAs to help compile lists. So here are all my brokers in Nashville that I call. And then you can click in one little Pat. And so here's the times I've called them. It's not perfect, but works well on my phone. And then Nico, if anyone has questions, please interrupt because I'll just keep going. But the whole point of this is to be able to look and see. The purpose that I use Asana for is like emails suck. So it's like if you run your business out of your inbox, like you're not really moving the needle. So I look at this as like, okay, when do I need to call Pat? So I definitely called him since then, and I need to do a better job. But I can literally look at all the deals that broker has given me. So this one called me today. So this broker has given me 3 deals. I'm trying to find like a different one. Wade in Huntsville. I was talking to Lawrence about Huntsville. But like you can see all the different deals that are connected. So like, and so I just use this very quickly to like get deals. So yeah, I use this. So kind of just to start off, I think the easiest way, if you're starting new and you're like, I'm trying to find deals, Asana is not the best CRM. So for investors, I do not use Asana. I would invest in like an active campaign. I use Asana for a broker list because I can connect my deals and my broker list together. So just using a template. So this is Asana. This is the free version. Create a project, blank project, broker list. I use the list. You can do the board. It doesn't matter to me. For when it comes to broker list, I do that. Lawrence, I'm not picking on you, but we're gonna do Huntsville. And then, if you're new to a market and you're like, I have no idea who to call, and I know I want to be in Huntsville, this is all I have. Great. Where do we look for brokers on LoopNet, Rexy? And what are we looking for? We're looking for whatever you want, but we're going to say Huntsville, Alabama, and just search this. So we're not necessarily looking for deals. We're looking for brokers. So I just click this. All right, good old David. click that. And then I would put his info in here. And then one very critical thing I want to say is I don't put, like, I would be the main person in charge, but do not put your notes or do not use, like, think of this as the parent task. This parent task should not have the due date for the brokers, because what'll happen is, like, great call with David, like going to grab lunch, and say I called him today, and I want to call him. So this is the time. I don't use the time component, but if you want to call, I call brokers every 3 weeks. So periodically, 21 days. And so, like, I do all these things, add the lunch, you can add files in there. And so I want to mark it complete because I called him. What'll happen though, which is an ideal, so you click that, it'll auto populate. Oh, look, I need to call David. But what had happened was I lost all my notes that I had. So to not do that, uncheck. I'm gonna get rid of this one. Delete forever. I'm gonna have a subtask called call David. So what the the thing of it is, like, try not to go like too nerd out in my technical accounting world, but think of this as like, this is the permanent file. Like there should be no due dates. Like these are just all the information that it houses. And so I can add my notes here. Had lunch, was great, high fives, yay. All right, and then I hit call David, and then in 3 weeks, or it'll repopulate with a new one of call David, and so then I can see all my notes. Biggest reason why I like, though, Asana, if you're an entrepreneur and you're like, great, I only have 10 million things I need to do, you can go to my tasks. I think we rearranged this. I always forget how to do this part. Sort by due date. There we go. And you can get rid of the, but I know I need to call David January 4th, 2023. Any questions on that so far? I know it was quick, but I just want to see if there are any questions.
Yeah, Mikey, why don't you just like kind of share what you talk about? Because it's like people listening might be like, I don't even know what to ask a broker. Why am I going to call in every 3 weeks, you know?
Yeah, so broker calls should be like max 10 to 15 minutes. For those who are looking to like learn how to sell, Fanatical Prospecting is the best book you can have. For those who are audible people, don't buy it because it has every script in this book. I didn't know anything about sales coming from accounting. Read this book, I go, this tells me everything. So like if I'm calling Nico, right? So Nico's a broker in Huntsville. Hey, Nico, it's Mike Taravella. A group of my investors and I are looking to expand into Huntsville. And the reason I'm calling is because I saw your listing on Cotton Row or whatever this apartment complex is. And I just wanted to see, get more information about this deal. And the reason it sounds good is because it's like, okay, group of investors, aka people on this call. It shows you did some homework. It shows you're legitimate. If you've closed deals, share that. If you haven't closed deals, I am working with someone who has closed X. Be ethical in like who I'm working with. Don't be like make sure you please make sure you have like key principles and people who are like you're working with. Because what ends up happening is like you overpromise. Oh, Nicole, you have your hand raised.
Oh, sorry. A few of us missed the name of the book that you were referring to.
Oh, yeah, sorry. It is. I don't get any sales on this. I don't know why my Amazon doesn't work. but fanatical prospecting.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. But I'm going to convince, because the brokers are sizing you up too. So a broker is going to be like, hey, is this person legitimate? And if you get hit with, I need proof of funds, that's not a thing in commercial real estate. So you have to prove to yourself that you're worthy of closing. And you may not be there yet, which is fine, but you want to have that next call with that broker and be like, look who I'm using. Nico, you have the great credit. We've worked together on that, but like the credibility one pager, a book is great, but no one's going to read a book. Like if I gave you a book this Christmas, 0% of you would read it. You'd throw it away. So like give it a one pager. Dan Gilbert, like the billionaire Quicken Loans owner, made decisions off one page. So I think you can do a one pager showing who you are, who you're working with, what you're trying to do, where you're trying to do it, and just showcase that. And I think people that would go a long way. Did I answer your question, Nico? Or anything you want me to deep dive on that?
No,
Does that
awesome.
make
Thank
sense?
you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Any other questions?
Mike, do you have the list of things that you use for asset management side?
Yep, let me do a deal real quick and then I'll show my asset management one sec. So just this one's very quick. I'll be quick with it. Let's do a blank copy. So I just want to show the connecting projects, deal flow. I like the boards on this one. Because it like aesthetically shows better. So for example, these are deals received, underwriting, offers, pass, lost, and then of course Nico with the win, one. So what I would do is put this deal here. Put that deal there. I would tag the broker, so at David, so I know the broker, and I'm not gonna lie, I always click that. So links at 49, right? Because then what happens is when I'm calling the broker, and I know I passed on this, hey, how did that deal on Cotton Road go? Right? It sounds like you're really smart, but you're literally just looking at all your notes. And this is like your QB sleeve. And I can't speak for the other ones because I just haven't used them. The Asana app on your phone works just as good as like the web. Like there's not like one does better than the other. The only thing that is different is like the homes. This screen is different, like that doesn't exist. But like the deal, so then I can just always talk to the broker about it. So, and then deal flow, you can upload like your underwritings on here. Doesn't do great with like MP4s, but like you can put all your files in here. I've used it for all my underwritings. You can do like Google Drive photo or Google photo albums. So you go through each of these parts and then like I assign it to me. This would be like the call to offers date. So like say it was next week, go through the whole process and you're adding notes the whole time. Like, all right, you can add your LOI in here, submitted LOI, add this, seems like a no. And just because a broker tells you it's a no, what I do is like the call to offers passed. And what I would do is have like a follow-up. This is because I'm a little psychotic. It's not over until they closed. So I'd put it in the follow-up and then change it every week until they close. And so you can literally have it follow up to see it closed every Wednesday, weekly, yeah, Wednesday to me. So then you can see it followed up and it would just go through. Then I'm adding those notes to David and I'm just seeing if they closed. Once it does close, one thing, deals don't go away forever. They just come back. So I changed the due date to like 2 years from when they bought it. And then that way I can check my task and go, okay, what do I need to do? Oh, that deal. Yeah, let me reach out to the broker. So this is another thing is like, I would not advise someone new to do off market. I would just follow with brokers and I would contact David since he listed it and be like, hey man, would this person be willing to sell? And guess what? You have all your T12s in here. You got all of your underwritings. You got everything you've ever spent time to look at in one spot. So you don't have to look at that one email you sent to Nico after you sent 10,000 emails to Nico looking for one underwriting and the property changed. And so that's why I like this, because it can really just make your life, it makes the monotony of like following up gone because you have my task to help do it. Any questions on that before we go into asset management? Is everyone overwhelmed?
Yeah, you're moving through this like a ninja, but
Well, we
great.
have it recorded, so that's why I'm trying to go quick so we can go through a lot. And it will. I'll put my like email and stuff in here too. But
Thank
But
God
no,
it's
it's
being
good.
recorded. I'm gonna have to listen to this thing like half speed. So, but it's a lot of good info.
Good
you can
info.
cover, yeah, you can cover my face too.
Yeah,
My
I
question
didn't
really
even-
quick was that tagging the broker, can you tag multiple people? And it's just because you already added his name into the other list with the property information that you could tag him there so it connects your notes on
Yes.
him property.
I just tagged him because he's the only broker I have in here. But if I had you as a partner, like as a team member, I could tag you and be like, at Mike, this deal sucks. I hate it. Locations here. Like you can tag other people. Like you can tag live people in your group. You can tag contacts. They can't see it, but like if you like invited, say like, so Vlad's on my team, share, there's Vlad and like, Vlad, look at this wonderful deal. Like, you can tag other people. David just appears because I created the broker contact first.
Yeah.
So like, say he had like 123 Main Street. Now that becomes taggable here at 123. Oh, that's sad. Why didn't it work? Oh, it's because I didn't hit. Sometimes the board view is kind of funky with it. Okay, so broker list, click David at 123. And you just click and then at David.
Great.
But I can do also do like, as a collaborator, I can invite you to look at this deal. I haven't really used the looms as much. Some people like, I always make the joke because like if you click done, a unicorn will pass by. And people are like, why is that? I was like, because we're millennials. Come on. Obviously, we need the dopamine hit while we're working to be fun. So, but yeah, I'm going quick to kind of go through it just to see a lot of, because it does a lot of different stuff. Like you can do content calendars. If you had a list of like Reonomy or something, you can import a spreadsheet. I would advise if you do that, go by the address, because if you use like a Zapier or other things to connect this, it makes your life easier than instead of going by apartment name or like apartment name. So, but yeah, you can use it for trying to find like content calendars. Like you can use this thing for everything. And someone else had a question.
Hey, Mike, after your deal is won, do you use this also to track all the due diligence you have to do?
So it's funny. So I create a due diligence checklist in Excel. I would create a new, mine's different, so I don't need it. You would create a new project. It should be like in here. I don't know why I create like my own company or team name. And then what happens is you'll have like a due diligence and then your level 10 meeting. And so one thing you have to notify your people of your team is if you use the due diligence checklist, what'll end up happening is every team member will get notified of all the stuff they have to do. I used to do it over the weekend without warning, and people are like, you blew up my inbox this weekend and now I'm overwhelmed. I'm like, well, we have a lot of stuff to do. So keep it an Excel template of the due diligence and then import that in here because you can change the emails and due dates faster. Like all of my due dates are based on how many days before close we have to do it or after. So start with a template like that, and then you just import it, invite the people, tag them, overwhelm them, laugh, but then like, no, but we have to do all these things. And any other questions? I thought I saw another one.
Hey, Mike, my name is Jan. Quick question. Is this always free or is there just a free version of it? And then they force
It's
you-
always, there's a paid version, but that's like, you're getting to the bells and whistles of like, if I click complete to this one, like you could do forms. Like if I complete one task, like if I have a built-in, like if I prepare something, I have to review it. With the pro version, you could do like, if I click pro or if I click prepare, then it automatically will give me a task to do. I will say ClickUp when it comes to the pro version seems better when you scale, because how they get you here is, it may have changed. It used to be $5 a seat, but you had to have 5 seats. It looks like it changed. I know ClickUp is a less of a hurdle, but more bells and whistles. I thought about switching, but I'm like, do I really want to kill myself of migrating this stuff? Not yet. It's not hard, but it's just like when you have that many files and everything, it could be a process. But everything I'm showing you today is free. So you don't, like you could, but like when it comes to find the objective of finding deals, looking at deals with brokers, level 10 meetings, which is the book from Traction, nothing is that 911 needs to be, and I still use the free one today. So.
Mike,
Yeah.
would you
I have a
please
question.
show one project for asset management, how you create it and how you go about?
Yeah, I'll do that next. So I just wanted to show kind of the deal flow side. So what?
Just one thing I want to add to that is, if you create this deal flow for acquisition side and then save it, each time you can import or duplicate to a new one for each property, you just keep using it.
Yeah. Oh, you're saying the template? Yeah. So property closed. So I always start with a list. And so this is just based off Traction. So you have the level 10 meeting. So you have 3-year goal, 1-year goal, quarterly priorities, call them and then problems. They call them identify, discuss, solve, but think of that as like your issues list. And then I call this like the parking lot is like, this is a good idea, but not right now. And so like this could be, I forgot weekly to-dos, right? So weekly to-dos, get new sign. And I use this for every property. So like I'll go through my rent roll and then I go to this to make sure everything's in there. So like we had like get new sign, assign the property manager, the due date, 2 weeks. Guess what? We all have third-party property management except Joseph. What happens is they don't do it, and I'm just like, hey, property manager, did you do this? And then they won't answer, so then I have to shame them on the call. I mean, I've gotten to a point where one time I had to have my VA email the property manager with all the owners every single day until the next meeting. So this is why like property managers will not do stuff. And that's why I have all of it in here. And sometimes like I won't email them because I'm like, it's not important enough to email or call, but I want to document it in here. So like we had like get mailboxes, distribution to investors, like whatever you need to do, like your 3-year goal could be NOI of 150,000. But our 1-year goal is going to be renovate 20 units. Quarterly priority, onboard washer dryer program. So, and then issues could be like non-payments, parking lot could be a CapEx project, like new roofs. So like this is like the impetus, and then what I like to do is a blank project called unit turns. So this one actually uses a board. This one's a little bit harder, but it for me helps. So we'll have like original. So there's like no rent increases and evictions. Renewal sent. There's no order, doesn't matter, whatever works for you. Vacant, unrented. Renovating. Vacant, rented, or renovated, past tense, but not least. Renovated and leased. And original and renewed. So the difference is, to kind of go through it, like unit 1, tag the property manager, due date is the lease date, so May 31st. Unit, but rents $700. And so like every week we have a call with our property managers and we just take the rent roll and add notes. So my VA like adds notes in here. It's like delinquent. And it has the date, it's timestamped. Sent to collections. And you can move sent to evictions. It's like, okay, now that's an eviction court. Okay, now we got the unit back. It's now vacant, unrented. I don't know where that guy came from. All right, so what do we need to do to the property? The question I always ask the property managers, what needs to get done? Renovations. Click the A for the list. Flooring, paint, appliances, washer, dryer, whatever. And I always ask them, when will it get done? When will it be leased? For those who really know me, I don't know how to fix anything. But I expect my property manager to finish by 12, 6/15, if he says 2 weeks from when we get it back, all right, June 15th. And so it should be leased by 7/1/23. Right. So every week I'm following up with like, hey man, did this get done? Like, hey, like I don't mind, like I'll check in, how's it going? But if it's not done by June 15th, how did this happen? How do we prevent this from happening again? And guess what? There's notes every week of talking about the units. And so it's just like, hey, maybe we should do our inspection even later so we can get the material sooner. Like there's no excuse of why not got done. because your role as the asset manager is to make sure it's getting executed. Because every day it's not getting rent, you're losing that much money per day. So, so then once, okay, it gets pre-leased, and then once it does, they move in, I'd put it under renovated and leased. Original and a renewed could be like, they moved in for, say, rent was 1,000 or 900, 900,000, renewed at 1,000. And then we're just like, we're playing the renewal game. But I like doing it this way because on the list version, I can see how many units I've renovated versus how many units are original. That's why I like this. So I can quickly count out and see what needs, in my head on a day-to-day basis, I look at this as a conveyor belt and I go, where are the things? But if I need to quickly see the numbers, I can kind of like just add stuff and quickly count like an Excel spreadsheet, like, oh, there's 3 units that are original and 1's renovated. What questions do people have?
Can you go through one of the existing project and show us
Like what I have?
the live?
The one that what?
The one that you are working on currently.
Let me try to find it. I can find it. I just some of my notes may be sensitive, so I'm going to try to find some stuff that's happening. Any other? While I'm pulling up that, does anyone else have any questions? I saw Nicole suing someone, so I hope it's not me. All right.
Hey, Mike, when you're doing this, do you have any KPIs that you deal with in Asana as well, or is that all Excel?
That is a Google Sheet. So if you own property and you can't tell me your physical, your economic, and your cash balance, you have a problem. Because if you don't have people in the building, your marketing is shit and no one can see your units. If you have people in the building, they're not paying, that's your pain point. You got to get people who are paying. If you have people in, you have people, and I say people in, that doesn't mean be 100% leased. Every time my property manager brags that he's 100% leased, or it took him 2 seconds to lease a unit, I'm increasing rents to $200. There should be like a 92 to 96%, because that just, if you're at 100%, in my opinion, you're just kind of being lazy and just filling up units to fill up. But I do that in a Google Sheet and I track that. But Asana is good at project management. It's not great at reporting. It can be good at reporting if you're paying for it. A Google Sheet can suffice. So this is my 36 unit I have. I use the tags for the 3 beds, and I have a crypto punk because I'm a millennial who can't afford crypto. Well, maybe now I can since all the cryptos crashed. But we have an eviction. Renewals were sent. I like the boards because you can see the photos. This is what an eviction looks like that happened a while ago. But like all the single notes that my VA does. So pretty heavy lift in November of 21. Eviction was sent. Beautiful. And then, just looking at just seeing how many updated the market rents. So and then I can see quickly. So this is a 36 units. We have renovated 10. We have original and renewed 12. So that number is going to go up. I mean, we have some vacants that we're working on. People left a couple months. We have 3 people notice to vacates as well. But that's your role is we essentially what happened was we had 9 leases end in September. We're like, okay, we could refi. We elected not to because we'd rather have a new tenant face in that's paying market versus like trying to promote the renewal rents. Because when we did the renewals, they're like a couple hundred below market. And so there was an advantage. And so we just had some lease exposure that didn't go our way, which is fine. We paid out 10% year 1. So it's not like, oh my God, the world's ending. It happens. But so that's kind of how we do the unit turns for one of ours. The L10 stuff I would show, but it's a little bit confidential to our investors and such. So yeah.
I noticed some of the units you named in unit 1 through 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, I know what you're gonna say because you just muted yourself. Those were that's because those units are like the 3-bed, and that's just how the old person had it. So this is a 3-bed, 405B. Essentially, it's 30. Think of like 30 apartment units, and then they built 3 duplexes. So 405 is the address, AB, or CD, whatever it is. So those are just 3 bedrooms. They're very nice. So, yeah. Any other questions? See, Anne Marie. Yeah, that's why I do like using this, is because I know how many units I renovated. Those who have units, it's like you could ask, anyone, and they'd be like, and you're looking at the rent roll versus this, I can aesthetically see very quickly. Kick to you, Patrick. What questions do you have?
Mike, would you mind clicking on a unit again, just to kind of look at your full description one more time of everything you have in there?
It's like a hoarder of thoughts. So it's not anything scientific and amazing, I promise. It is kind of like me, subtasks is being served, pre-leased, followed. Did we see the move-in fees? It's just kind of like whatever my property manager says in the call, I write it down and then can put it in. Or you could literally just like click through and be like, tag them. I don't expect my property manager to use this, but I do, because then I can hold my property manager accountable, and I can live with that. But the expectation I have on third-party property managers is like, just do what you do best, and I will project manage this really, really well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mike, Patrick here.
Yeah.
Would you happen to know if Asana is able to generate a report in terms of timeliness? Because we can set due dates, and then we can obviously mark tasks as complete. Now, is there a way for Asana to generate a report in terms of timeliness?
In terms of, when you say timeless, in terms of getting the job completed in a certain time, or are you saying like hours on task?
Versus the due date.
Okay.
Date of completion versus the due date.
Yeah, you can absolutely shame people by being late. I mean, that's what you're really asking. We don't have to beat around the bush.
Actually looking at performance evaluation.
See, that's a corporate answer. Welcome to entrepreneurship. You can shame people.
You just happen to know if it's able to do so, because what I'm getting so far is in terms of days, and what I'm actually looking at is percentage.
Yeah. So like here's like so you can filter by due date, due before today. And so like all the people who are in red, shame them. You can do by due this week, due next week. But it'll signify red. Some people filter by incomplete task, or I'm sorry, so filter custom by thought there's a way to do, I guess it's all me anyways, so. But you can filter by like people who are doing the tasks. You can filter by, you can get rid of the incomplete tasks. Oh yeah, here's the incompleted task. So like if I did this one, you wouldn't, like how it originally does, it shows everything. So it'll show the mailboxes got done, but you can do incomplete and it goes away. So
Great.
yes, you could shame people if you wanted to, or evaluate their performance.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks.
You're welcome. Which is critical in due diligence, because what'll happen too is like, hey, rent roll audit. Just as like a random task. Rent roll audit. You know, you have all your file, add the files in here and the Google Drive link. Like say an analyst was doing it, or like I had it like Anne-Marie do it. Anne-Marie, what were your findings? I tag her, she's not in, so I can't. She goes, hey, unit 3, 4, 6 at different rents. And she can tag, we can have an entire conversation through an inbox that prompts. And so like, we don't have to do an email. And doesn't that sound great? Not an email. Like I can not like, it allows you in real time and in one location do everything. And I want to say like, I said at the beginning, but as long, it doesn't have to be Asana. It could be ClickUp. They do Trello. Like I used to do Trello, but like this is a Trello board, so you get more functionality. Like you get files, like you know, for all your underwritings could be in here. When Nico had a deal that he was looking at, I actually underwrote it like a year before he like was looking at it. So I shared all my notes. I was like, here's what I found, but the rents were already there. So it was just like, you can look back in time and be sad at all the deals you didn't win. And then you're like, oh man, I should have just bought everything and rents went up. But you can kind of like reflect when they go back on the market. And I've had brokers like list something and then 8 months later, they're relisting it. So I'm comparing with the numbers then to now, and it's all in one spot. So deals never go away, they just come back.
Hey, Mike, you had a certain set of projects on the side, right? For deal flow, brokers, property close. Are there any other ones that you typically have that you haven't gone through?
I'm building out a content board because I'm working on building more content. So that's in process. So I have like the same thing as the deal flow. Idea, recording, edited, description, which if anyone has not heard of Chat GPT and like hates writing, fucking robots got you. Like they built job descriptions, everything, it's free. So it's like, I'm using that for like newsletters. I see Nicole's using it because she did a round of applause and a heart. But like, yeah, you can do anything with that tool for free. And that's like the only thing I'm like, I always use L10s. I use it for rhythms. So it's like every week I want my VA to do this. I have kind of just like our standard operating procedures. So I'm trying to think of anything else. That's about it though. There's nothing,
there a
yeah, there
space
hasn't been any
limit?
issue.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, that's it.
I was just asking if there's like a space limit, and I don't know why I'm having a brain fart on the terminology, but like, I don't know, like everybody's like, how much can you put in Asana in the free version before you need to upgrade?
I've put all of the deals I've ever underwrote for 2+ years with OMs and everything. And as of December 14th, 2022, I haven't had to get storage. I would advise doing it again, do it everything in a Google Drive so you can access it. Because then it's in one, it's even in a better backup spot, but you can't put like a video in there. That's kind of the limit. It can do any Excel. Most like 99, there's only been like 2 offering memorandums I haven't been able to fit. but they're the super bougie ones. So
Hey, if just to not to cut you off, but if people have to leave, it's past 8. I know that there's another meeting. Just feel free to drop, and we will send you the recording.
I do have to head out pretty soon, but yeah, I probably got like another 5-10 minutes.
I kind of have a basic question, Mike. You know, when
We
you
just have
have,
questions.
yeah, those pictures in there of like, say, the eviction, whatnot. And since you're putting everything in to keep track of it as an asset manager to kind of follow the property management company, how are they giving you those pictures? So it's not like this. How do you do that communication with them? Do they email you pictures and then you just put them in Asana since they're not using Asana?
Yeah, they text forward to VA adds. Yeah. I kind of just forward everything to the VA
Okay.
because if you think about it, your time is worth more than $5 an hour.
Yep.
So for me to find it in Asana and do that, it's like the brain power to get it there versus like forward to VA is great.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. And that can be on Slack. I use Slack as communication. And it's more just to kind of help segment, because if you just keep sending emails to the same 4 people, one, you're unsearchable and it sucks. Also, I didn't even realize Slack, you can have like your notepad. So it's like if you message yourself, that's like your own notepad. So I found that like a couple months ago. That's how I got on this, because Nico texted me the Zoom link. And I'm like, great, not the email. I'm like, oh, I'll just Slack it to myself. So
It's great. Thanks.
yeah. Everyone on this call does too much. And Asana is a step for you to be able to delegate it to someone else. So I know I've overwhelmed everyone, but like think of it as like, what is the one decision you want to get rid of that you don't want to do anymore? Whether it's like I have all my VAs on my confidentiality agreements and they upload everything into Asana. So like it can do anything, but like, what is that one, like something in your head, you're like, oh, I got to call this broker. I got to do this thing that I do every X amount of days, quarters, whatever. You can put that in there and like start building your standard operating procedures. So I started with the broker list, then the deal flow. Then when we close something, we use it for there. But like start with one system and build upon that system. And your life will be infinitely easier, because you're doing it for you now, yes. But when you have partners, team members, VAs, like I'm up to 4 team members now. I can't remember everything. So like get it into a project management tool so that they can see what's going on. And not in your inbox, because no one likes that.
Awesome. All right. Any last questions?
I nominate Wyatt to ask a question, or Sean, because they've both been way too quiet, and that's not like them.
I don't know, man. It was good.
It was good. That's it. How can I have
great.
made your night great, Wyatt?
It was great, man. I want to see some numbers too. I want to see the KPIs if you got time. I'd love to. Is it the same KPI tracker you sent like earlier this year, or do you? Okay,
Yeah,
still the same thing.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be sexy, as long as it works for you.
As evidenced by Mike T, it does not have to be sexy.
31 years of commercial real estate and accounting, not modeling or OnlyFans.
I love it, man. No, this was great. We
Yeah.
are switching our L10s to Asana from here on out. I'll tell you that much.
And Wyatt had no virtual assistants earlier this year, and I made him get one. And he's like, oh, I'll do it later. I go, just do it now. And Wyatt, how much less do you hate your life because of that?
So much less. That was the first employee. Now we have 4. So it's going better. And we are all on Asana, bro.
I challenge everyone to do less and make more.
All right, going once. Questions?
Can we give Nico another round of applause for closing this week?
Oh, thank you guys. Thank you. Thank you. All right, Yossi, you want to do a picture? Do we do that anymore?
Yes, let's do it.
All right. Thumbs in the air.
Two
Peace,
thumbs
comment,
up.
whatever you want to do.
All right, should I just turn my camera off?
3, 2, 1. All right. Thank you guys again for coming tonight. And Mike T, you dropped a huge value, so we appreciate your help. And we'll share this recording to everybody who left early, and my kids are around, so sorry. But again, thank you very much and have a great night. And we'll see you next month. So Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Thanks,
See
Mike.
everyone.
Thanks,
Yeah,
guys.
guys.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.